This is Iowa Everywhere. And now, it's time for Two Guys Named Chris, powered by Fairway Meat and Grocery. This is Iowa Everywhere. For the fans.
Happy Monday. Welcome to Two Guys Named Chris here on Iowa Everywhere. If you're watching us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, hello. If you are listening, hello. If you're listening on the podcast, we ask you to give us 5 stars, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Leave us a kind review. Don't be one of those jerks that goes on to the reviews and leaves somebody 1 star. Oh, I like all the shows, but I hate Bohannon. Don't be that guy. We appreciate it. All that stuff helps us out. We thank our sponsor, Fairway Meat and Grocery. We'll be talking about our friends from Circa Sports Iowa as well, with the championship NFL game lines coming up on Sunday. How's it going over there in Florida, Hassel? It's freezing here.
Did you see the video of the woman just getting knocked out on the floor of a sports book? I don't know if that was Circa or not.
She got knocked out?
Oh, man. This woman, she was probably 60, just sauced out of her mind. And she was going at this younger woman who probably had 75 pounds on her.
Uh-oh. That's
and
not good.
The younger woman was like holding her at arm's length, and she was like, "Can I hit her? Can I hit her yet?" Because this old woman was like, "I'm gonna kick your ass." And this went on for like a minute, and finally, this woman had enough, and she just knocked the snot out of this old lady who fell to the floor and didn't move for about a minute.
Reminds me of that video that went viral with the Raiders fans, that older lady harassing that Patriots fan. And then Robert Kraft.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, that happened like a couple weeks ago. And it went viral. And
when Kraft had him in the
Kraft
booth.
invited that guy to the next game. And anyways, don't be a bad fan. Don't be a jerk. Matt Van Winkle's probably one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Bang, bang, not a
gang. What? Bang,
bang,
bang.
gang.
Look at this.
Is this the whitest thing that we've ever seen?
If you're just listening on the podcast, we're watching Matt Van Winkle dancing to the Bang Bang Niner Gang in his Brock Purdy jersey in suburban Iowa.
Who are we?
Congratulations, Matt.
That's why I don't
good.
dance.
Feels good.
That's why I
That's a throwback to my college days, man. You'd find me at any bar on Welch doing that.
Find me at the club.
Bottle full of bub. Yeah, right, Matt. I knew you in college. You were about as tame as they come.
I mean, get a few rum and cokes in me, and we're good.
Get a few pops over there to Stoss, and then you never know that night's gonna turn into with Matty Van Wink.
Stoss.
It was a fun win. It was not a pretty win. It was a pretty win. That's for sure.
He did enough. He outplayed Dak.
He was better than Dak Prescott. That's what I came away from.
You knew the Niners defense was going to need to play well to come in. Dak had a really good game before. I mean he had been coming in on a high note. The question was, can the Niners D stop him? And he did. Purdy did just enough to win. Kittle had the great catch to sustain that drive, and man, just did enough to win.
Kittle's a national treasure. His post-game interview where he was like, wee, whatever he did. Did you see that with Aaron Andrews?
Yes.
It's great.
He's like the polar opposite of Brock.
Brock's just sitting there with a total straight face.
But do you think that you could handle like hanging out with Kittle on a daily basis?
No, I could do it a couple nights a year.
I think it would be too much. I think it would be. I mean, the guy, he's locking eyes with the camera in the huddle in the middle of the game in the fourth quarter when it's all coming down to it. I can see how
he does turn it on.
A guy like that could have frustrated a Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah. Was he like that at all at Iowa? I mean,
we certainly didn't see it, but he didn't play that much. And he admitted that it was because he really didn't learn the playbook as fast as he should have. He wasn't as invested as he should have been.
And
I can see exactly why Kirk Ferentz maybe did not have him out there on the field all the time.
You know, in hindsight, too, you look back on that topic, and I remember when I was doing talk radio when the Noah Fant and TJ Hawkinson stuff was happening. It's like having watched their pro careers, and Fant's going to be a fine pro. But you could see totally why like that guy wasn't the preferred tight end of Kirk Ferentz when you watch because Hawkinson, from everything you read, is like the consummate professional, right? Like he's the showing up early, leaving late, weight room, like all that good stuff. And yeah, it's really interesting. Then, so do you, real quick, man, I wanted to point this out. I sent you the tweet last. Do you have Brock Purdy's post game, the photograph?
Yeah, hang on a sec. I got it pulled up.
I was showing this to my wife.
Look at his photograph.
You think of quarterbacks in the NFL, and they, like wearing like, I think of like Cam Newton. Brock Purdy is doing his post-game press conference in just a plain white tee.
I love it. Just love it.
It's like Matt texted us last night. He's like, he's gonna get a deal with Haynes. Like, look at this. If you're listening on the podcast, Eric Steyer, the former Iowa State basketball player, tweeted this out, and he goes, Brock's post-game outfit with 3 fire emojis, and it's literally Brock Purdy standing at the podium in a white T-shirt holding a Gatorade. It's the funniest thing. This tweet just killed me last night. I just died.
Did you see what Stephon Diggs rolled up to the Buffalo game wearing?
No.
I mean, these guys. He was wearing like a full face, like something was hanging over his face. You couldn't even see it. It was something. My dad sent it to the group text. And he's like, "What the hell is this?"
My wife asked,
"Who's this guy think he is?"
My wife asked me why I thought it was so funny, and I had to pull up pictures of Cam Newton post game to show her, to be like, well, this is what I think of when I think of these professional athletes in their press conference. Like the NBA is even worse. Like every guy in the NBA, like they're all trying to make a fashion statement of some. And Brock's just in literally is like a Hanes T-shirt, probably cost
But
$1.
how long is this gonna last?
Yeah, I don't know. But he really had.
Is he gonna be in a Hanes T-shirt next year?
Probably not, because there's expectations probably higher to look professional and stuff.
But
I don't
sit
think
him down after the season and be like, Brock,
will you at least wear a collar?
Yeah.
At least I don't think he's going to change, though. This guy's been unfazed he's never changed. He's just rock solid. I'm really happy for him. It's been fun to watch the him and Kittle thing, because it's kind of brought everybody together in our state. Like everybody, instead of bickering with one another, it's just been a lot of fun. And that game yesterday, Chris, it seems like every week we're given a reason why the 49ers will fail. In this week, but they haven't played a defense, right? Like, this is the first real defense Brock Purdy has seen since he's been in the NFL. And listen, he wasn't like, he didn't set the world on fire, but he also didn't screw anything up, and that's really what they were asking of him in this game. Name an offensive player who had like a gaudy stat line. Nobody did. This was a game dominated by defense and clock control and special teams and all that stuff. So onward to the NFC Championship game.
I will say, though, my mind has been changed, I believe, by what I saw this weekend in the NFC. I had the 49ers going to the Super Bowl. Man, the Eagles looked...
I already bet on the Eagles.
I know it was the Giants, but the Eagles looked so good, and the 49ers have to go in there. It's Brock Purdy going on the road this time. What's the spread? 1.5? That's what it opened at.
I logged on to Circa the second the Cowboys 49ers game was on. It was 1.5. I bought it there. I played the Eagles, and it was to 2.5 about 30 minutes later. So I don't know. I'm going to pull that up right now, and I can give our audience the updated number. But it certainly appeared that the smart money was going on the Eagles. Yeah, it's it. Right now, Chris, there's a 3 on the board. I see a 3. It's 2.5. It juiced at 120. Circa's got it 2.5, juiced to 115. So clearly, I can tell you how much money is coming in on the Eagles, but it's a considerable percentage right now. 95% of the money is on the Eagles when that came out at 1.5. That's a massive number.
I wasn't a huge believer in the Eagles, and we didn't really know how healthy Jalen Hurts was going to be. They played almost the perfect game against the Giants, and they're going to have home field advantage, and it's going to be Brock Purdy in a different environment. Like he went on the road in Vegas. Of course, he's played on the road a couple of times, but not against a team like the Eagles.
Yeah, and to me, this is more of just a football conversation than it is a Brock Purdy conversation. I mean, we would probably feel this way if it was Jimmy Garoppolo, no?
I feel better with Brock Purdy at quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, so you proved my point. Like, this is just Philly is a brutal place to play. You put the Super Bowl on the line, and it gets even worse. And I'm with you. I think that they're the favorite. I have a futures ticket on Philly to win the Super Bowl, so I'll be okay with that. But what do you think, Matt? You're a 49ers fan. I do. I'm with Hassel completely. I would pick the Eagles to win this game, though. What do you think?
I mean, it's going to be a good game. Yeah, we really haven't seen Purdy go on the road and have a great game. I mean, he hasn't had very many opportunities, but from what we've seen from him, he's been composed. He's been great. I mean, he did go up to Seattle and had a nice win to clinch the division, but we know Seattle can be a hostile environment, but not as much this year. But man, it's tough, man. I love the Niners defense. I think they're going to give Hurts a lot of pressure. I expect honestly a similar game to what we saw against the Cowboys. I think it will be a low scoring, a single possession game down towards the stretch. But I mean, I'm going to roll with my Niners, but I can see why I can see why you guys like the Eagles in this position.
Eagles lead the NFL in sacks.
Yeah.
We saw Purdy get in trouble a few times.
Yeah,
in that game
and we saw yesterday
the
too. The Niners have been relying on the running game. They've been relying on McCaffrey, to get them some space. Get that running game going, get Debo open in the slot, and they didn't really get much going until that the third quarter, and they got one good drive out of it. So I think again it's going to come down to turnovers. The Niners got 2 of them on Dak yesterday.
Dak was awful.
They need those possessions.
By the way, how bad were the Cowboys those last 2 possessions on offense?
Is Dak the most overpaid player in sports? $40 million for that guy.
I mean, I think you could probably look at a couple backup quarterbacks who never play that are making like $15 million a year, but Dalton Schultz made 2 just horrendous mistakes on that final drive.
Yeah, the not dragging your foot. Ugh.
And not moving forward, not knowing the rules, not knowing that you can't just back yourself out of bounds. You can't let somebody hit you and then backpedal out of bounds. The clock's going to keep moving. Dak almost gave up a safety on the first play of that drive. And the other drive right before that, where that was the drive where they had a legitimate chance to do it because they did have a lot more time to move down the field. He should have thrown a pick 6 on the very first play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was looking to throw it to the tight end, and a linebacker came right through, should have picked that off and ended the game right there, and they showed no signs of doing it. That's when they had to punt it with like 2:10 left.
Mm-hmm.
It was a disaster, and it looked bad for Mike McCarthy, too. I wonder if they're going to make a change there.
Brock, he got away with the one at the end of the half, and I was terrified it was going to lose him the game.
Well, there were 2 that he got away with. He got away with that one.
I was talking about the one where he threw it out of bounds.
That was...
Oh, my God. I was terrified.
A little bit more hang time on that, and you lose out on 3 points.
I actually think he got lucky.
He's gotten away with so many picks this year. It's unbelievable.
I went back and counted, Matt. To my number, Brock's had like 5 that have gone through the defender's hands that I can remember.
2? How many interceptions does he even have this season? I think a couple, maybe. Okay, he's got 4.
He's been very fortunate. Yeah,
especially on that last scoring drive for the 49ers when they should have picked that off. I mean, he had it. He had it. He
that
just
one
couldn't
was
hang
tipped,
on to it
right?
inside the 5. Yeah, it was.
That was the one that got tipped,
Yeah.
yeah. Boy, that one at the end of the first half, though, especially in a game like that where you knew it was just going to come down to it.
What is Shanahan doing there, though? Like, just
what the hell was that clock management? It was horrible.
It's terrible. I don't know what he was. I mean, it worked out. If all you're looking for is a field goal, I mean, they got it, and there was no time left, but that was almost disastrous.
Let's go to the other NFL game, and then we'll get to college basketball, as we have a lot to hash out there. So Mahomes goes down, high ankle sprain, and the Chiefs really had to sweat one out against Jacksonville, took care of business. Kansas City now, let me get our updated point spread for them and Ames' very own Joe Burrow. Circa has this at 1.5. The Chiefs are a 1.5 point favorite. Hassel, I have already bet on the Bengals money line.
What is that line again? 1.5?
Yeah, I just took Bengals to win plus 105 last night on Circa. I just like if Mahomes isn't 100%, like that's
right. And I can't remember who. It might have been Romo in the game last night. He was kind of going through what he thinks the week is going to be like for Mahomes with that high ankle sprain, and I mean it didn't sound very good. He's like I expected him to be able to come back and play in that game, but it's the several days after where it's going to get a lot worse. Romo was like, he'll be on crutches on Wednesday. So I don't know. You know, he's not going to be 100%. And the Bengals are just white hot. And Joe Burrow he's got it. He's got it. And he's done it against all these guys. He beat Mahomes at Arrowhead last year. Mahomes who was 100%.
He loves it.
Oh yeah,
like Burrow loves this. Like, we're an underdog. F you. Like, you know, like he is.
And that game was not close. I mean, the Bills had no chance in that game, in the second half of that game. I mean, the Bengals were by far the better team, and they did it in the snow in Buffalo.
Boy, that was fun.
I'm glad we're not getting that miserable neutral site garbage down in the
Yeah, so, okay, Chris, I'm glad you wanted to talk about this, and I'm really glad you did too, because I don't know why I've missed on this. Why was there potentially going to be a neutral site game? Can you explain that to me?
Yes, because the Bengals-Bills game was canceled.
Okay, had something to do with that.
That game had a lot of home field advantage riding on it for, honestly, all three teams, the Bills, Bengals, and the Chiefs. The Bills controlled their own fate for home field advantage in the 1 seed. If they had won out, they would have been the 1 seed. But since they didn't get to play that game, they lost home field advantage to the Chiefs. Okay. So the NFL said if the Chiefs and Bills play in the AFC, the Chiefs get the 1 seed, they've got the better record. But since the Bills didn't get to play that game, we're going to go and play this in a neutral site if the Chiefs and Bills play in the AFC Championship game. But the Bengals also had a chance to get home field advantage. And so their fans have been pissed this whole time that they weren't factored into this as well, that they have to go on the road to Buffalo and now Kansas City when they also had a chance to get the 1 seed, or at least the 2 seed. Had Cincinnati beaten the Bills, they would have been in that 2-spot situation. So the NFL, you know, they tried to do I don't know what else you do. They tried to do as best they could to make it fair.
Yeah, they can't win in this spot.
No, but I'm just glad we're not going to see that, because I saw the report over the weekend from, I think it was Pro Football Talk, about the NFL wanting now to move conference championship games to neutral sites because they want it to be more like a bowl game feel. They're jealous of college football's bowl game feel. What?
That is, I don't.
Are
say
you
this.
kidding me? College football fans are like, no. We want the playoffs when we expand to 12 to be more like the NFL playoffs. We want it on campus. We don't want these bowl game feels for all these games. A bowl game? No, it's all about money. The NFL sees a way to make more money, and they're going to do it. So thankfully, they didn't get this little test run they still might do it anyway. Now, they've got to have, I don't know what it is, 80% of the owners or something to that effect have to.
Why would the owners vote
this.
to bring games away from their stadium?
I think what the NFL is going to do is
it?
they're going to be able to say, well, this is going to be more money in your pocket. But I can't imagine, the Packers,
Chris,
saying yes.
I don't take this lightly. I used to be a real king of hyperbole. I try not to do it much anymore. This might be the stupidest sports idea I've ever heard.
I agree. It's horrible. Why would the one thing the NFL had over college football was this great playoff environment at home stadiums. And that's what we've been trying to get in college for so long. Now college might actually be getting it, and the NFL might be taking it away.
There's nothing I hate more than neutral site college football games.
Oh, it's terrible.
Even basketball, really. Like when people tell me, like, hey, my dream is to go to an NCAA tournament. Nah. All right, if you live in Des Moines and it's in Des Moines, yeah, go for it. Like, that's cool. Like, would I tell you to fly to San Jose and take a $900 flight to see? No, just watch it at home. Because really, you get in those arenas. You've been there. It's not that great. They're half empty. The atmosphere sucks. And then, right, like, neutral site is the root of all evil in sports. This would be the single stupidest thing, competitive-wise, TV-wise, that I've ever seen the National Football League do. And you're opening it up. This is what I hate the most about it. This is what I hate the most about the Bulls. College football and its television partners have this great product, okay? That is phenomenal product. Why do they whore it out to these bowl games? These guys who are just right, like, but so they make more. But like, my point is, they could make more money if they just cut the Bulls out. Get rid of the old men in the Blazers. We don't need the old men in the Blazers.
Knock a lamp over.
Yeah, I just about destroyed my printer.
I got you fired up this morning.
Oh, I hate these. I enjoy watching bowl games, right? Like I'm fine. Have as many bowl games as we want. But why does the college football playoff have to be tied into the damn bowl system? It shouldn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be tied into it at all. Screw the Rose Bowl. They could have their own game. Why should they get a cut of the check for all these schools and all these conferences? Like, why are you giving that out? It doesn't make any sense. Sorry.
I'm with you, man. The best atmospheres in sports, and you never really say it's a bowl game or it's a Super Bowl. I mean, I've been to the last, 3 or 4 Super Bowls. It's not a great atmosphere.
It's a bunch of rich people, right?
Right.
I've never been to a Super Bowl.
It's
but
funny, in that article, they were, probably, they weren't quoting anybody, but they were probably getting the information from these sources who say, well, we have our neutral game, the Super Bowl, but that's, it's kind of, stale environment because of all the tickets go to the rich people and they don't care about the game. What do you think is going to happen with these neutral site conference championship games? It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, Tyler's watching on YouTube. He just made a great point, Chris. He said the same way they handle the Super Bowl, they jack up the prices, sell it to corporations. They don't care if fans of the team show up. It's a really good point.
They're going to say that, no, we're going to do it like we did it this year, where they were going to have a bunch of season ticket holders. We're going to get all these. It's not going to end up that way.
That's not better for the fans. I've been a Vikings season
horrible.
ticket holder. I would be pissed off if I had season tickets. My team is supposed to host the NFC Championship game, and they don't get to.
And you know what else you're doing? You're completely devaluing the regular season.
Yeah.
Because why does it matter if you have the 1 seed?
And you've already expanded this playoff, which I'm for. Like, I think it's fine, the way that they've done this and letting an extra team get in and all that stuff. But then, you just keep doing more. You just keep milking it more and more, and then you lose what makes you great. So we're 100% on the same page here. This would be a disaster. I hope that. Yeah, it's just. I hate neutral site games. It's the absolute worst thing that ever happened to sports. Is when these people are like, "Hey, we should play Kansas State and Iowa State and Arrowhead Stadium." Why?
I was at one of those games.
Oh my God, the one where we missed the PAT.
Got a good shot of it too.
I'm sure you did, laughing in the background. Troll. Real quick, we'll get to college basketball here. I wanted to. Maddie, do you have our standings from our Circa competition that we've been doing?
Oh Jesus!
I got them written down. I didn't make a graphic. But,
Oh, that's okay. How did we do this weekend?
You guys did okay. Williams came back. Williams is now 5-5, and Hassel's 4-6. So
Yeah, I did not
guess
do
flipped a
okay.
couple
I went
games.
1-3.
Sucks to suck, doesn't it, Hassel?
Well, that Chiefs game was total BS. I mean, come on. That field goal in the final minute to go from 10 to 7.
It's funny, though. The Chiefs are so bad when they're a big favorite against the
Yeah,
spread.
they just don't cover.
They just don't. And Jacksonville's kind of the opposite. They always find a way. That was an epic cover because I had real dollars on Jacksonville, so I was praying that field goal would go through. Real quick, we had a question from Ross Tucker, not your host, not the NFL guru Ross Tucker. He says he's watching on YouTube. I was going to join Circa, but having to go to a casino to get signed up is frustrating. Other books just sign up and go in the app. Why do they do that? They don't, Ross. You need to retry that. I mean, I signed up for Circa right here at my house. You don't have to go to a casino. So try that again, my man. And I promise.
Like they're going to make you fly out to Vegas to go inside the casino?
For some reason, I think Ross was saying I need to go to Wild Rose Casino because that's the partner of Circa Sports in Iowa.
And where's that at? Where's the old Wild Rose?
There's 3 of them: Jefferson, Emmitsburg, and Clinton. So they're all over the state.
Okay, I've never been to
the one in
Jefferson,
Jefferson, man,
Emmitsburg.
Is beautiful. The sports book in there, it's like a Vegas sports book.
I've been to Clinton.
Really, all of them are. I've been to the one in Clinton too, and it's
is that
incredible.
on the river? Is that a riverboat casino?
No. The yeah. Ross says, "Oh, I think I assumed it assumed the wrong state." That would be my guess.
I think Circa has an app in a few different states too, so maybe you got to do the Circa Sports Iowa.
It assumed the wrong state. Is that like assuming someone's gender? You just can't do that.
No, so when you sports bet in Iowa, it becomes problematic because of like your location settings. So let's say you're on the Mississippi River and it pings your phone in Illinois. It's not going to let you do anything. So like I'm a big sports bettor. Well, I went up to visit a friend in Minnesota this weekend. So
Is that
I had
the
to
guy who blocked me on Twitter?
Yeah, we'll get to that. I had to get all my bets in before we crossed the state line. So, because otherwise, like, I can't, even though it's legal for me to bet, like, because my phone's pinging in Minnesota, I can't log on to Circa while I'm up there in the Twin Cities. Ross says he's trans-state, LOL.
All right, I opened up a can of worms.
Do you know what John Miller does to bet? Because he lives technically in Kansas or Missouri. He, like, when John wants to place a bet, he'll get in his car and drive like across the state line, place his bet, and then drive home.
So it's legal in Kansas. It's not in Missouri.
Yeah, It's pretty wild.
Huh.
So, anyways,
his whole life seems like a fantasy camp now.
It kind of is.
What does he do?
He's a propane guy. Him and Bob Sacamano, his friend Bob Sacamano. Miller owns a propane company. He just sells. He's in the energy business. It is quite interesting. Every time I talk to him, he's just sitting there like petting his cat. He's on some sort of a call, and then he's talking about, he's like reading up on some philosophy. It's just a bizarre living, but the
Debating
prince of the parlay.
Artificial intelligence.
He is the parlay prince, says our friend Brock Bierman.
The parlay prince.
Yeah.
That's John.
Yeah, John Miller is basically a modern-day Hank Hill.
Yeah, but he doesn't drink, though. You got to take that beer out of his hand.
Yeah, well, John finds other ways.
He just drinks straight THC. Just a can of THC. Or CBD, whatever the hell that stuff is.
THC is the good stuff.
I don't do that. THC is the good stuff?
CBD's like the calming. Like THC's do you want to have a good time? Oh, Miller's watching. He says, I hate Hank Hill.
He kind of looks like Hank Hill. What is
Give
his
a
little?
shout out to
What
our
is
friends at Fairway.
Miller's little? Sorry, Fairway, to interrupt. What is Miller's little cartoon guy? He looks like.
He looks like Tommy Lee Jones. Who's
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Hey, pull that up, Van Wink. I want to see that cartoon picture of Miller again, because I have a question about a certain.
And Hassel, for the podcast listeners.
No, not the.
He wants the
Hank
Miller
Hill.
and Williams.
I want the Miller
logo.
and Williams cartoon picture.
He's referring to every show
Hang
on
on,
Iowa
gotcha.
Everywhere has a card, and anyways, that's what he's referring to. Real quick, while Matt's doing that, I am going to do an extra podcast this week with Sage Rosenfels, and we're going to kind of get Sage's preview of the NFC and AFC Championship games. You know, I think heightened awareness of these games in Iowa, they're always going to be a big deal. But when you factor in Kansas City, just right down I-35, Brock Purdy and George Kittle, this is there's a lot of people who care a lot about these games. And then Sage will be down. You'll have to hit up with Sage. He's going to be down at the Super Bowl.
Are you not coming? You said you were thinking about coming.
I think I'm going to try. If Brock gets there, I'm going to try and get down there and do some coverage of him.
Okay.
And George Kittle. Yeah, there you
All
go.
right. So can you zoom in on Miller's face? On this, yeah. Zoom right on in. Keep zooming. Keep going. Can you keep going?
That's as far.
That's as far as it goes. All right. What's the deal with the little penis thing on his upper lip? He's got like a little penis hanging from his upper lip.
He does have a little penis there.
What is that?
I think it's he's supposed to be a shadow.
I think it's just nothing but foreskin. What?
I like his eyes.
When I look at this picture, all I look at is the penis lip.
Jeff says it's a dimple.
I've never seen a dimple that looks like that.
Well,
I also like how his hair looks like it's spray painted on. Like you see, like Williams's hair, that looks like real hair, but whoever did the cartoon imagery, like, might have actually used spray paint on this cartoon.
that'd be our friend Kyle Starcevich, Southeast.
Yeah, the
Polk
old
legend.
SEP quarterback.
Legend.
Yeah, I remember covering him.
Ross says that my face penis is hidden by my face bush because my guy has a beard.
Oh God.
All right, let's move on to basketball. We'll start with Iowa State, higher ranked team. Cyclones. Listen, this is what you thought. Oklahoma State, a top 10 defense in college basketball. Yeah, my takeaway on this game, Chris, there were a lot of Iowa State fans who were like, "Oh man, we let one get away," and I understand that. I kind of looked at it as you built up that 16-point lead, you play as well as you could for 10 minutes, and then you really played awful the rest of the 30. If Iowa State didn't get off to that big lead the way that they did, they would have lost this game by double digits, letting Oklahoma State, and not a good offensive team, hit 9 threes. Caleb Grill, for the most part, being out with an injury. You missed the front end of a couple of key 1-and-1s down the stretch. Only hit 4 threes. Didn't play a very good game if you're Iowa State. This is life on the road in the Big 12. It didn't even impact you. You're still 10 in the net rankings. But I mean, if you're looking like, oh, we're trying to win a Big 12 championship, this was a blow, you can still just turn right around and beat Kansas State tomorrow, and it's really no harm, no foul.
Is there a line on that Kansas State game yet?
Not yet. It should be coming up any minute. I would venture to guess Iowa State will be a 4 to 5 point favorite.
Yeah, I was going to guess 5.
Yeah.
Especially after losing that game. But how's the health of Grill? I mean, how is Iowa State going to be health-wise going into this game with
It's a huge
pretty
question.
quick turnaround?
I would guess that, it's a back thing for Caleb, and generally those don't just go away. So I would think that this is going to be something he's either going to have to play with or take a little bit more of a, be on a pitch count a little bit. But it clearly impacted him, I think, more defensively than offensively, giving up 9 threes to that Oklahoma State team. I could make an argument that Grill is right there with Gabe Kalsher as far as a perimeter defender goes now. He certainly wasn't a year ago, but he's gotten a lot better in that sense. And I think Iowa State wins that game if you get 35 minutes with Caleb Grill, but you didn't. And, you got 2 Big 12 losses now by a combined total of 4 points.
9 threes you give up and 9 2-point baskets.
Yeah, and look at the free throw, the differential in free throws. This is a weird game.
16 more free throws. Well, I was calling a game at the exact same time. I checked the score right as I was about to really get into my game, and it was halftime, and Iowa State was up 10, and I felt pretty good. And my game ends, and I check the score, and I see it, and I'm geez. So I go to my group text, which has like my dad, Zavolinsky, a couple Iowa State fans on it. I said, What happened? And my dad goes, well, according to those Iowa State fans, the refs screwed them. It was all their fault. So I don't really know. I didn't really know what happened.
It's not rocket science. They missed 2 key. There was one bad call where they missed a goaltend, and it clearly was missed. So Iowa State should have had 2 more from that. But listen, like in these types of low possession, nasty defensive games, you have number 6 defense and the number 7 defense. You knew exactly what this game would be.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make free throws. You can't turn it over down the stretch. You got to do all these certain things. And Iowa State didn't do any of them well. So, like, to me, I didn't even feel that bad after it because, to me, this was a life in the Big 12 moment. It's hard to win on the road. And, look at Kansas. They got beat by 25. And now they got to go on the road tonight at Baylor. So and then, if you're Iowa State and you beat Kansas State tomorrow night, you're right back in a tie for first place in the league. You're in a pretty good spot.
What's going on? Van Winkle's sending us texts in the middle of the show. What is this, Van Wink? A picture of your daughter in the pool?
I gotta think that his daughter has
She's
his
got
phone
my phone
or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Are you sending pictures?
What the hell's going on? I was like, what? Am I supposed to reference this? Is
Shows
this a big moment in this
all over the place today?
Little Van Wink's life in the pool? You and your damn kids.
Iowa goes to Ohio State, loses 93-77, and really didn't play defense the whole time. Now I need to go back and watch this game again. I didn't get to watch it very closely, and I plan to do that today. But you just look at the numbers from this game, Chris, and I mean that's looked more like Iowa from a month ago, right?
Well, yeah, and I would say they kind of looked that same way against Michigan and Indiana at times, but they were able to score enough to win those games. They were able to come back and pull out kind of miraculous wins. And in this game, they didn't have the offense to go with their horrible defense. And it's an issue with this team. It's an issue, it seems like, every year where you just, at any given moment, any team can go out there and score 90 points on you. I mean, Michigan scored 84, Indiana scored 89, Penn State scored 83, Eastern Illinois scored 92. So the defense is a problem at times. But then you'll have a game like Rutgers where, they were great against Rutgers. On the road, too. I think that was their best game of the season on the road. No question. Maybe their best game of the season, period, other than the Iowa State game. I don't know. And now you got to go to Michigan State this week.
This is a brutal stretch for Iowa. This is a really important next 5 games. And I'll stand by it, and I'm not making an excuse for them. That did not play in their favor, the Northwestern game getting postponed the way that it did. They looked out of sync. Iowa did.
Ohio State was due for a game
like
this. They had lost 5 straight, all really tight, heartbreaking games. They were due for a breakout, and they got it.
Iowa's next 5 games: at Michigan State on Thursday, Rutgers at home on Sunday. Then they get the Tuesday game against Northwestern, the makeup game. And then you get Illinois and at Purdue. This is a massive stretch for the Hawks. This will make or break if they're an NCAA tournament team, depending on how they do down the stretch here. Do you agree?
And you got to win at least two of those.
Yeah, you can't lose like 4 or 5 here.
I think you already put Northwestern in the win column. I would already put Michigan State and Purdue in the loss column. And then it depends
Rutgers
what
is a
happens
total
with Rutgers
toss-up.
and Illinois at home.
Yeah, those games are total toss-ups. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you get 3 here, you feel all right, right? You feel pretty good.
Oh, if you get 3,
yeah, you're really
you're sitting pretty for the tournament down the stretch. But if you only win 1 or 2, it's still kind of iffy. I mean, as of right now, I haven't looked at the bracketology this Monday morning. I know that Jerry Palm puts out a new one each Monday. I don't know where they're at. I would guess they'd be around a 10 seed, 9 or 10.
They would be one of those right in the bubble type that would be on the right side.
Yeah, because they have I think it's 4 quad 1 wins. So I think they would be, let's see, Iowa State's at 2, Iowa's an 8. According to Jerry Palm.
Is Kansas State a 1 seed right now? I would guess that they are.
I would guess that they're not, because they're Kansas State. If that was Kansas State's a 2, according to Jerry Palm.
Yeah, I mean, their metrics are
actually wonderful. This is not the updated one. This is January 20th, so they have not updated. I know he comes out with a new one today, but it might not come out until noon.
What about Kansas? I'm telling you, I just don't believe
what is going on.
This is like this elite level Kansas team. Like their last 3 games, you win by 2 against Iowa State, right? So a shot falls different.
Well, go back to the game before that.
Yeah, the Oklahoma game. Great point. Yep.
They were losing by double figures late in that game and came back to win it at home.
They only beat Texas Tech by 3, and at the time you thought, oh, they're 0-7 now.
Jeez.
And then tonight they are going to be. I'm going to look up the spread. I would guess that they are an underdog at Baylor tonight, which I would bet my life on Bill Self tonight, not losing 3 games in a row.
Yeah, it looks like Baylor favored by 2 points.
That makes sense. Yeah, there's actually quite a few 2.5s out there. Circa has it at 2 right now. So really an important stretch here for the Jayhawks to see, what I've watched them a lot, and I know they've got wins, but I don't think that this Kansas team will win I don't think this is like a Final Four type Kansas team, but that's just me.
I got a question for you, Chris, as a father of a young woman. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I've seen a lot of I Love Dick shirts on the co-eds there at Kansas. Would you allow your daughter to wear a shirt like that? If it was up to you. I'm not saying this is up to the fathers out there. But this was a topic on social media I saw. And I would like to know what you would allow.
So you're saying if my daughter, we should
went
just
to
ask
Kansas.
John Miller, his little Gracie Miller goes to Kansas,
I can't see Gracie in a shirt like that.
I would let Cameron wear an I Love Dick shirt.
Really?
Well, I mean, he's a player on the team.
What if it's a crop top? Like a very revealing crop top.
See, now we're starting to change the conversation. I don't want my
and
daughter
it's January in Kansas.
I don't want my daughter wearing revealing crop tops ever, regardless of what it says. I would say if you wear a very revealing crop top that says I love Dick, you are asking for trouble.
Oh boy.
On a college campus.
Careful. See, this is why I don't have kids.
I don't trust.
I get to ask people like you.
That's what I always say to my wife. I don't trust the guys.
No.
Like they're all, on these college camp. No, absolutely not. So, but she could wear a T-shirt that says I love Dick. I'd be totally fine with that. Come on. We're having a little fun.
Just a big extra large T-shirt.
Yeah, it's got to be real, just 100% cotton,
now,
super baggy.
Didn't your mom probably wore an I Love Cox shirt in college, right?
Actually, she still wears it now. Walks around downtown Clarinda. And isn't Grady Dick? Wouldn't he be like the perfect like guy to play at Duke in the 90s?
Yes, that's perfect. Yes. What's the deal with? I can't figure out what he looks like. He's got an interesting haircut.
Who Grady?
He's got
Dick?
the same haircut that my sisters had when they were like 5.
Oh yeah, man, that sunbutt can play though.
Some butt.
Some
That's
buck.
something your dad says too.
Yeah. Boy, have we gotten so much play on those Iowa words. You got a few more here. What
I wrote a few down from the comments from last week when I shared my story about how I grew up with a dad who put a T on the end of every word that ended in N. Wisconsin.
I like Nintendo. I've seen that one forever. Like I've heard that one my whole life. You gonna turn on the Nintendo?
My grandma called everything Nintendo.
Nintendo?
You playing the Nintendo? Is that Nintendo? Did you bring that Nintendo? I don't know if that Nintendo is going to work with our TV. We got a ton of responses on this.
Okay, give me some of these.
How about instead of salsa, somebody says that they know people that say salsa.
Really?
Salsa.
There's a whole Seinfeld episode about that. Salsa. Give me the salsa. I'll take the salsa.
Salsa.
I'm going to do the salsa.
How about instead of toilet, they say toilet.
Never heard that one.
I've never heard that either. Oh, this is a big one here. I hear this all the time. Across.
Yes.
It's
I hear that
across
one.
the way.
Go across the street.
How about people in Iowa, instead of saying golf, they say golf? Have you heard that?
I don't know if I've heard that. I kind of feel like when you say in Iowa, too, it kind of depends on where you're at in Iowa because the southwestern Iowa dialect is very different from northeastern. Because I would guess that they kind of talk like Wisconsin up there, right?
A little bit more like that, but I don't think it's as. Yeah, and you guys over there in Southwest, you guys talk like the Nebraskans.
Missouri.
We talked when we were making fun of these words. People that say "wash,"
Yeah.
I'm gonna wash my hands. They also say, "Let me look at my warch." They don't say watch; they say warch.
Okay, so you have Von Mars.
Yes,
is that not how it's pronounced? Because I've always said, let's go to Von Mars.
But it's not Von Mauers. It's not plural. It's Von Mauer.
I've always thought it was Von Mars.
You're one of those people that puts an S on every store. Hy-Vees, Fairways.
Because there are multiple
Circas.
Von Mars.
Well, there are multiple Von Mauers, but you don't say I'm going to Von Mauer. You're not going to multiple Von Mauers. You're going to one.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying I've always called it Von Mauer.
How about instead of aluminum, they say aluminum. They just take out the A. It's just aluminum.
The one thing, if you go back to my hometown, so where we live in Clarinda, well, like I would say 70% of the town calls it Corinda.
What?
Yeah.
Corinda?
Corinda.
They can't. Oh, speaking of not pronouncing the L's, there was a guy who used to do all the voiceovers for the Muscatine TV commercials, and one of the sponsors and one of the commercials was for Meerdink Oil. It was the name of this place, and it was like a shop or whatever. Meerdink Oil, okay. And the announcer would say, "Come on down to Meerdink Oil." He couldn't pronounce the L. At Meerdink Oil, you have the best customer service. Just get an oil change at Meerdink Oil.
Why was this guy employed as the voiceover guy if he couldn't pronounce
Probably because he was the only guy that would do it. And he probably made about $50 a commercial.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. Speaking of Southwest, I texted you, but our friends down at the Adams County Speedway.
Yeah.
You went and visited them.
Yeah.
The coldest day of the year.
Oh my God.
Well, they appreciated the love and they put the Iowa Everywhere logo on their beer refill thing for the year. So when you go to,
I saw it. So it's like a bucket.
yeah. So when you go
and
to
they've got the Iowa Everywhere thing on it.
when you go racing, you can get like they'll fill up that bucket full of beer. So then that way you can just pour it in your glass. And
What?
you don't have to get
Wait,
up.
so there's not cans in that thing? It's like they put beer in the bucket, so they're sloshing around in there?
They put draft Busch Light in that bucket, and then you just carry it
What?
to your seat, and you can pour it in your cup.
No way.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it's got Iowa Everywhere's logo right on it this year. You know the kind of publicity we're going to get from that?
The people are like, what the hell, Logan? What is the Iowa Everywhere?
Goddamn elitist Hassel came here and wouldn't even get out of his goddamn car.
I did get out of the car. I got out of the car, got a picture taken right
Yeah,
in
and
front
you
of that.
looked miserable. It was embarrassing.
Oh, Jesus. It was like wind chill minus 40. Hey, bring up Simon's thing about Louisville here. Simon Wilson said, not that one, the other one, said kind of like when people say Louisville instead of Louisville.
It's Louisville.
It is Louisville.
That's how it's pronounced.
And in the Midwest, a lot of people will call it Louisville. And
wrong.
so I called it Louisville, and I got my ass handed to me at ESPN when I was doing a Louisville highlight, and I said Louisville. The guy was like, it's not Louisville, it's Louisville. It is It is Louisville.
You make ESPN,
that's how it's said.
like, I don't think that I can handle working there. It's just people yelling at me all the time. It sounds horrible.
Damn it, get in here. Show's over. Get in here. Come on in, get your whooping.
Pronounce Louisville right, you idiot.
We always had these post-show meetings, and one of the guys who did the majority of them, we'd do this 3-hour show, and we'd walk up as a team, the anchors and the producer and the director. You walk in there, and all you want to do is you want to walk in and you want this person to tell us, like, give us whatever he's got, whether it's good or bad. No. Every time you walk in, he'd go, how'd we do? And I would say, I don't know, what'd you think? How'd we do? How'd we do? You could ask him.
Was he
What'd you think?
seeking for you to put yourself down?
I don't know.
What did he want out of asking that question?
Yeah, maybe he didn't watch the whole show. I don't know. But he'd do that, and then a few different people would, well, we could have done this better. We should have done this. We should have done that. I liked what we did here. And then, of course, he would pull out his notes.
Oh, God.
And then,
handwritten.
Well, I didn't really like that transition when you put Chris and Randy on camera, because it was clear that Randy didn't know where Chris was going with that. Randy was scared, and I saw it. That's it. That's all I have. Sorry, I could go more, but I'd probably get in trouble.
The last thing I had on my list to cover today,
was
that Iowa State got another top 100 basketball recruit last night.
It's like every week there's another top 100 player.
I think it's going to calm down now because they don't have a lot more spots to give. But Dwayne Pierce, a 6'5" point guard out of New York, he's pretty good, man. Like I really like his size. He feels like, more importantly, he'd just be a really good fit for the type of basketball that they play.
All right, how is TJ doing this?
Well,
is Bloom raising more money than I'm aware of?
I can tell you that they are not paying these guys like crazy. This is not that type of a deal, and they can't. Like, obviously, they're not in Kansas's level when it comes to that. We all know it. I think that I think they're targeting the right type of guy. Like, I mean, the high dollar guys are your top 25, top 30. Guys 75 through 150 are all like, get them on campus and hope that they
give them a bag of oranges.
Yeah,
they'll be good.
There's this conception that these kids are all getting millions of dollars, and it's simply not the case. This was Dwayne Pierce announcing at halftime of his game last night on ESPNU. Now, that good for that young man. Awesome moment. I also kind of a tough time to do it in the middle of the 49ers-Cowboys game.
I know. I was thinking the same. Like, oh my God, there's a high school basketball game going on ESPNU right now, and a guy's gonna commit.
Yeah, but now, for what it's worth, and it's really early, but in that 2024 class, Iowa State is currently ranked 3rd in the country as far as the recruiting class goes.
Okay, again, how?
He's a hell of a recruiter. Like, it shouldn't shock people.
Clearly, but
when you look at his track record,
3rd in the country
he's brought
in that
to Iowa
class.
State over the last 10 years. The guy is incredible.
What's he telling these kids? What's his sell? How does he get a kid from New York City? New York City?
Well, do you want to know how
Ames?
that played out? I mean, it was really pretty brilliant. They offered him like 7 or 8 days ago, or actually probably like 10 days ago from now, and the kid wanted to come on a visit, and they said, well then, let's get you here for this Texas game. I mean, who isn't going to commit after being in that atmosphere? And he's like, that was all he needed to see. He didn't even visit anywhere else because he's like, I love this. This is incredible.
That's great.
And the connection there was one of TJ's assistants, Schmitty, has a long relationship with this guy's either head coach or AAU coach or something. So, again, it's a relationship thing. It's not like they just saw this kid randomly in a gym and offered him. Like, they know everything there is to know about him. So, it really impressive. So they've got their next 2 classes are both currently ranked in the top 10 in the country.
Amazing. And you look at what they're doing right now with all these transfers. What's going to happen when he gets his own guys in there that are top-ranked classes? It's really exciting for Cyclone fans.
Matt wants to know if Bloom's out there handing out fairway meat bundles to these recruits. Get you a prime rib if you commit on Tuesday.
I tell you what, you come to Iowa State, we'll get you some ham balls. What's Evan talking about? Evan says, why is Larry E. mad at Chris Williams? Larry Eustachy's mad at you?
Well, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Is Larry Eustachy mad at you?
Not that I'm aware of.
Who is Cyclone Larry?
He's one of the wide right and natty light guys. I don't know his actual identity.
Is that like a thing? Like he wants to keep his identity, he or she, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But he's hilarious. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot.
I think this Evan has you shook about Larry Eustachy.
No, I just know that we're up against the time.
I think you're shook.
Cyclone Larry's. I'm down with Cyclone Larry.
I always thought that Cyclone Larry was the guy in the picture. I didn't realize the guy in the picture was
That's Stephen Leith.
That pilot president that you had crashing those planes. What did he do? He was flying those planes like a rented mule.
I once introduced myself to Stephen Leith. He was there. I don't know. Let's see. Let's say it was. Well, if he was there 4 years or whatever, and I went and introduced myself to him, I didn't expect him to know who I was or anything. Like, it wasn't anything like that. The guy could not have pushed me to the side faster.
Oh.
He did not he did not want to talk to me. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he wrecked that plane, and then he had to get the hell out of there. It was just...
That reminds me of when I met Fran McCaffrey for the first time. It was either his first game or his second game, and they were renovating Carver, so like the coaches had to use the same bathroom as the media, and it was before the game.
Oh God, here we go. Were you taking
and
a
I
piss
go
with
in
Fran
there.
McCaffrey?
What?
Were you taking a piss next to Fran McCaffrey?
Well, no, I went in there, took a leak, and he was at the mirror combing his hair, and we were the only two people in there. And I zip up and I walk over and I use the sink right next to his because there's only a couple sinks in there, and we're the only people there. And I said, "Good luck tonight, Coach." And he goes, he's combing his hair, and he doesn't look doesn't pause or anything. He just goes, "Meh." That's it. Meh. I don't know if
he
said
didn't even
yeah
acknowledge you
or okay or thanks. Meh.
Yeah.
Meh.
I made the mistake the day of Steve Prohm's introductory press conference. I didn't know Prohm was like this huge Christian. And
You go, hey, Steve, how the hell are you son of a bitch?
He came on the radio show, and I was trying to have like this really conversational. My dad must be watching, and he says it looks like Poppy's a little sloppy, based on your restroom conversation. Prohm comes on, and I'm trying to explain to him like Hilton. And I'm trying to make this very like fun and conversational. I go, well, Coach, you know what we refer to Hilton Coliseum as, right? He's like, oh yeah, what's that? And I go, we call it church. And he did not like get it, nor did he find the humor in it the way that Ross Peterson and I did. And it was just a really.
So I covered a Murray State game of his in Murray, Kentucky. This was probably his last year there, I think.
Okay, prior to Iowa State.
Yes, and. He, where am I going with this? Oh, I drive into the town, and this town, I mean, it is in the middle of nowhere. You got to fly into Nashville and then drive like an hour and a half through the woods to grandmother's house. And you get there, and then there's signs that are like, Murray County, dry since 1920.
Oh my God! Really?
It's like and so parts of the county are dry, and you'll find a restaurant, and there are like no bars, but the restaurant the lady was like, yeah, we were dry up until a couple years ago when the county passed a new law says we can serve alcohol Monday through Saturday up until 7 p.m. So we can get you a drink if you like one. So that's where he's coming from, is this dry county down in southern Kentucky.
He loves it down there.
Oh, he's right at home.
He fits right in right down there. Even when he was Iowa State, he bought a house back down at Murray. They bought like a lake house down there. They just fit right.
That is it, and it's not an easy drive. It's weird. It's just
all those southern. Have you ever driven to Oxford?
Oxford, Mississippi?
Yeah, it's
no,
similar.
I have not been to Oxford. I've been to Hattiesburg.
That drive
Gulfport.
from Memphis to Oxford is woo. See a lot of good things there.
I did a Murray State game with Tim Doyle, and I was flying out the next day from Nashville, but I had my hotel in Murray, and Doyle was like, "What? You're staying in Murray, Kentucky? No. You're coming back, and you're staying with me in Nashville tonight. We're going out." So we drove back to Nashville about 100 miles an hour and stayed out until about 4 a.m.
Good for you. Nash Vegas, baby.
Nashville, a little bit different than Murray, Kentucky. Dry since 1920.
All right, we got to get you off to CBS.
All right.
Thanks to Fairway. Matty Van Winkle, congratulations on the 49ers. I hope your heart is not broken in pieces coming up on Sunday. I'm Chris Williams. He's Chris Hassel. We will be back on Thursday morning. We'll have Iowa, Michigan State to preview. We'll react to Iowa State, Kansas State, and we'll look ahead to the championship games in professional football as well. For Chris Hassel, I'm Chris Williams. Have a great Monday.